In the vast expanse of the galaxy, the mingling of countless species at the Intergalactic Council was a sight of unity and diversity. Among them, the humans were newcomers, a species from a blue-green planet called Earth, known neither for their technological marvels nor their formidable warriors. Instead, they carried an unassuming reputation, often overlooked by older, more advanced civilizations. The Great Hall of the Council was filled with representatives of various shapes and sizes, each equipped with their own translators, silently converting the multitude of alien languages into understandable speech. The walls, adorned with the emblems of thousands of planets, resonated with the low murmur of interspecies conversations. Suddenly, the grand doors of the chamber slammed open with a thunderous crash, silencing the crowd. A chilling air swept through the room as a figure cloaked in dark robes entered. It was the envoy of Kraxon, a feared warlord species known for their ruthlessness and a penchant for causing destruction. The presence of their envoy at such a peaceful assembly was unexpected and alarming. As the envoy advanced, a palpable tension gripped the hall. Members of species known for their valor and battle prowess shrank back, their eyes wide with fear. The Klaxians, formidable warriors with scales as hard as diamonds, retreated into their shells. The winged seraphids of Delphoria, despite their size and strength, fluttered upwards, perching atop their designated seats to stay clear of the imposing figure. Yet amidst this widespread dread, the human delegation did not move. Led by Ambassador Mia Chen, a woman of average height with sharp eyes and an unwavering demeanor, the humans remained seated, calmly observing the scene. Their lack of reaction was not out of ignorance, but from a conscious choice to face whatever threat might come. The envoy stopped in the center of the room, his voice booming through the translators. "Beings of the Intergalactic Council," he began, his tone as cold as the void of space. "The Kraxon Empire demands submission from all under its influence. Defy us, and you shall witness destruction of a magnitude your worlds have never seen." A silence fell upon the chamber, thick and heavy. Then Ambassador Chen stood up. Her voice, steady and clear, cut through the tension. "The Earth and its people recognize the sovereignty of all civilizations. We stand for dialogue and peace, not submission to threats." Whispers erupted among the delegates, a mix of admiration and disbelief. The envoy turned his gaze towards her, his eyes narrowing. "Do you not fear the might of the Kraxon Empire, human?" Mia smiled slightly, her calmness stark against the envoy's menacing stance. "We've learned to face our fears, not run from them," she replied confidently. "And we've learned that often the most significant threats are those that are met with unity and courage, not cowering." The envoy snarled, clearly unaccustomed to such defiance, but before he could respond, another voice spoke up. It was Thargok, representative of the Gurkhan species, known for their strategic acumen. "The humans speak of unity, a concept we've strived to achieve here. Perhaps we should listen." One by one, other species began to voice their agreement, bolstered by the humans' unexpected bravery. The envoy, realizing his intimidation tactics had failed, gave a final disdainful glance at Mia and exited the hall. As the doors closed behind him, the room slowly returned to its normal hum of activity. Many eyes turned towards the humans, their expressions a mixture of respect and curiosity. Mia sat down, her heart still pounding with adrenaline, but her face composed. Around her, her team exchanged quiet looks of pride. Today, they had not only represented Earth, but had also shown that even among the stars, humanity's spirit of resilience and courage could shine brightly. The Galactic Council reconvened the following day under a tension that seemed almost palpable. The previous encounter with the envoy had left a lasting impression, and whispers of the human delegation's boldness circulated among the attendees. Ambassador Mia Chen sat with her team, reviewing data pads filled with cultural insights and political analyses, preparing for the day's discussions. As they did, a delegation from the aquatic planet of Aquaria approached them, their bodies shimmering with moist scales that reflected the light in iridescent patterns. Their leader, Ambassador Thilix, extended a webbed hand in greeting. "Ambassador Chen, your words yesterday resonated with many of us." Thilix said, his voice bubbling through the water-filled mask that enabled him to breathe. The Aquarians have long sought partners who value courage and principled stands. We are interested in discussing a potential alliance. Mia nodded, pleased. We are open to discussing mutual interests and how we can support each other, she replied, sensing an opportunity to strengthen Earth's position within the Council. As the discussion with the Aquarians deepened, representatives from other species observed, taking note of the emerging alliances. The Seraphids of Delphoria, still perched high, whispered among themselves, their feathered crests ruffling in agitation. The prospect of a new coalition made them uneasy. Their strategic position in the Council might be threatened if Earth gained too many allies. Meanwhile, in the darker corners of the hall, the Klaxians communicated in their clicking tongue, debating whether to engage with the humans or maintain their distance. Their natural distrust for newcomers clashed with the strategic need to align with emerging powers. The meeting was interrupted by a sudden alert. The grand screens in the hall flickered to life, displaying a distress signal from the outer sectors. A colony, jointly established by multiple species including the humans, was under attack by unknown forces. The message was stark, filled with images of destruction and pleas for help. The hall erupted into chaos. Delegates stood, shouting and arguing over the best course of action. Mia watched the scenes of the attack, her mind racing. She turned to her team, her decision clear. We need to help them, she stated firmly. Ignoring the cacophony around her, Mia strode to the central platform, commanding attention. This is not just an attack on one colony. It's an attack on all of us who believe in the safety and sovereignty of our joint ventures, she declared, her voice amplified and cutting through the noise. Earth is prepared to send aid immediately. We ask those who are willing to stand with us to coordinate a joint response. Her direct challenge sparked a flurry of activity. Some delegates hurried to offer their support, while others hesitated, weighed down by political calculations. The Seraphids, finally alighting from their perches, agreed to send aid, swayed by the need to maintain their influential status. Thilix, representing the Aquarians, was among the first to join Mia at the platform. Aquaria will stand with Earth. Let our unity be the answer to those who thrive on creating division, he announced, his voice strong and clear. As the Council organized the relief mission, Mia felt a mix of apprehension and hope. The immediate crisis had brought unexpected allies together, forging bonds that might just shift the delicate balance of power within the Galactic Council. But she knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, both seen and unforeseen, as they ventured into the unknown to confront the assailants threatening their collective peace. The armada of mixed-species vessels cut through the vacuum of space, a tangible symbol of the newly forged alliance's commitment. Leading the charge was the Earth's flagship, the Defender, flanked by the aquatic cruisers from Aquaria and the sleek, fast scout ships of the Seraphids. Each ship was bristling with technologies reflective of their originating cultures, creating a patchwork of armed unity. Inside the command center of the Defender, Mia and her team monitored the approaching coordinates of the distressed colony. The screens displayed real-time data feeds, tactical overlays, and communications from the Allied ships. The air was thick with anticipation and underlying tension as they prepared to face the unknown aggressors. Beside Mia stood Commander Rael, a veteran of the Seraphids' elite aerial squadron. His feathered brow was furrowed, eyes scanning the data streams. The attackers haven't made any demands, he noted, his voice edged with confusion. Nor have they responded to any hails. It's as if their only goal is chaos. Mia nodded, her mind racing through scenarios. Keep all channels open and boost our signal strength. They might be waiting to see how we respond before they make their next move. As the fleet neared the colony, the extent of the devastation became visible. Plumes of smoke rose from breached domes, and several sections of the habitat were exposed to the harshness of space, emergency force fields flickering as they struggled to maintain integrity. The tactical officer, a Klaxian named Yorick, clicked his mandibles in distress. I'm detecting multiple life signals, but they're weak and fading. We must act quickly. Mia's resolve hardened. Prepare all rescue and medical teams. As soon as we secure the area, I want them on the ground. The Defender took a protective position above the colony, its shields shimmering as they expanded to cover the damaged structures. The Aquarian cruisers deployed their specialized environmental pods, designed to stabilize atmospheres and water supplies, while Seraphid ships patrolled the perimeter, their sensors sweeping for threats. Suddenly, the void lit up with the arrival of new ships, sleek and dark, cutting through space with aggressive precision. They bore no markings, their designs unfamiliar and ominous. "They're hailing us," said the communications officer, a hint of surprise in his voice. Mia stepped forward, her expression steely. On screen, the face that appeared was obscured by a shadowy helmet, voice modulated to conceal any identifying features. "You interfere in matters that do not concern you." The figure spoke, the threat unmistakable. "This colony is under the protection of the Galactic Council," Mia responded firmly. "You will cease your hostilities immediately or face our collective response." The figure laughed, a distorted sound that chilled the air. "So naive, human. You gather your little alliance, but you know nothing of our capabilities. We are beyond your petty council's reach." Before Mia could reply, the screen went blank, and an alarm blared. "Incoming!" shouted Rael, pointing to the radar. The enemy ships had launched a barrage of advanced torpedoes, faster and more agile than any seen before. The battle was on. Mia's heart raced as she issued rapid commands, coordinating the fleet's movements and counterattacks. Through intense maneuvers and strategic counterstrikes, the Allied fleet managed to down several enemy ships, revealing weaknesses in their formidable technology. Each fallen enemy added to the databanks, analysis quickly offering up potential tactics. Throughout the conflict, Mia maintained a line to the ground teams, ensuring the safety and evacuation of the colony's inhabitants. Lives were saved, and hope was restored, but the true intentions of the attackers remained shrouded in mystery. As the last of the enemy retreated, the skies above the colony cleared, revealing the cost of their sudden, violent intrusion. Mia surveyed the damage, her mind already turning to the next steps. They had won this battle, but the war was just beginning. In the aftermath of the skirmish, the Defenders' command center was a flurry of activity. Data from the encounter was being analyzed at a frantic pace, with every piece of debris and every digital footprint left by the enemy scrutinized for clues. Mia paced before the main holotable, watching as images of the destroyed enemy crafts were enhanced and dissected. Commander Rael approached, holding a data pad. "We've retrieved something interesting," he announced, handing the pad to Mia. The screen displayed a complex encryption sequence, remnants from a communication interceptor. "It's from one of their ships. Our techs think it could lead us to their origin point." Mia studied the sequence, her mind whirring with implications. "Have we cracked it yet?" "Partially," Rael replied. "But there's more. We found traces of a rare mineral in their ship's composition, one that's only mined in the Targon sector." Mia's eyes narrowed. The Targon sector was a notoriously lawless region, riddled with rogue states and criminal organizations. "That's our next move, then. We need to find out who's backing them, and why." The decision set, Mia convened a strategy meeting with her allies. Ambassadors Thilix and several others joined via secure links, their images flickering on the holotable. Mia outlined the situation, highlighting the encrypted message and the mineral trace. Ambassador Thilix's gills fluttered, a sign of his concern. "The Targon sector isn't bound by Council laws. Whoever is operating there might be planning further attacks." "It's a risk," Mia acknowledged, "but it's a lead we cannot ignore. We need to investigate and expose whoever is responsible before they strike again." With a consensus reached, preparations began for a covert mission into the Targon sector. The Defender would remain on standby, while a smaller, faster vessel, the Shadowlark, was equipped for stealth and rapid escape. Mia selected a diverse team for the mission, including a Klaxian engineer known for his knack for decryption, a Seraphid pilot with unparalleled flying skills, and a human intelligence officer with experience in undercover operations. Each member was briefed extensively, the gravity of their task clear in every instruction given. As the Shadowlark prepared to depart, Mia met with the team one final time. "This mission is about more than just gathering information. It's about securing the future safety of our worlds. Be swift, be silent, and most importantly, be careful. With the team's acknowledgement, the sleek ship detached from the Defender and slipped into the starlit void, making its way toward the Targon sector. Meanwhile, Mia faced political challenges. The attack and the subsequent revelations had stirred unrest in the Council. Several species questioned the preparedness and response capabilities of their unified forces. Mia spent hours in diplomatic talks, soothing fears and reinforcing the need for unity. During one heated debate, a transmission from the Shadowlark came through. The team had successfully infiltrated a mining operation in the Targon sector and discovered not only a stockpile of the rare mineral, but also plans for a larger-scale operation aimed at several key Council planets. The evidence was damning. Mia presented it to the Council, her voice firm as she detailed the threat. The response was immediate and unanimous. A task force would be dispatched to dismantle the operation, backed by a full authorization of force. As the Council rallied, Mia felt a brief moment of relief, but the weight of command remained heavy on her shoulders. Each decision, each order could tip the delicate balance of galactic peace. She returned to her quarters late, the stars outside her window a stark reminder of the vast, often hostile universe they were all a part of. Despite the challenges, her resolve to protect and preserve grew stronger, fueled by the knowledge that their actions now could shape the future of the galaxy. The Galactic Council's task force, a formidable assembly of warships and tactical units from across allied species, convened at the edge of the Targon sector. Mia watched from the bridge of the Defender as the fleet maneuvered into formation. The collective might of the Council displayed in a show of unity and strength that sent a clear message. The galaxy stood united against threats to its peace. As the task force initiated its descent into the sector, stealth and combat drones scouted ahead, mapping out defenses and relaying critical data back to the fleet. Mia monitored every feed, aware that the success of this mission depended on precision and the element of surprise. Commander Rael stood by her side, his eyes fixed on the tactical display. Initial scans show heavy fortifications around the main facility. They're not taking any chances, he observed, pointing to the clusters of defense turrets and patrol ships on the screen. Mia nodded, her mind racing through strategies. Deploy the electronic warfare units first. If we can disrupt their communications and sensor arrays, we can blind them before they even know we're here. The order was relayed, and moments later, the space around the enemy defenses lit up with the silent flashes of disabling strikes from the electronic warfare units. The effectiveness was immediately apparent. The patrol ships began moving erratically, unable to coordinate their defense. Taking advantage of the confusion, Mia directed the main force to initiate their assault. The battle was fierce, with energy beams and missiles cutting through the darkness of space. The Council's forces, trained for such encounters, worked with lethal efficiency. Inside the main enemy facility, panic set in as their outer defenses started to crumble. The Shadowlark's team, already embedded within, sabotaged key systems, further throwing the enemy into disarray. Explosions rocked the facility as critical infrastructure was targeted. Back on the Defender, Mia received real-time updates from all units. The facility's central command room had been breached, and the task force was securing the area. Key leaders of the operation were detained, many of whom were mercenaries with no loyalty to their employers, quick to offer information in exchange for leniency. The data retrieved from the facility's computers was a goldmine. It outlined not only future planned attacks, but also hinted at a deeper network of corruption that spanned several unaffiliated sectors. Mia knew this was just the beginning of a much larger battle. As the operation wound down, Mia addressed the fleet, her voice resonating over the comm systems. This victory is a testament to what we can achieve when we stand together. But let us not become complacent. The threats we face are not confined to rogue factions. There is a larger darkness at play, one that seeks to unravel the fabric of our unity. With the immediate threat neutralized, Mia initiated talks with the Council about forming a specialized interstellar security force, one that could act swiftly against similar threats in the future. The proposal received widespread support, a sign that the recent events had shifted perspectives, strengthening the resolve for a unified defense mechanism. As the fleet prepared to return to Council space, Mia pondered the future. The galaxy was vast, filled with unknowns, but also brimming with potential allies and undiscovered paths to peace. The road ahead would be fraught with challenges, yet the unity displayed today gave her hope. The stars seemed a little less distant now, as if the galaxy itself was drawing closer together, each light a beacon of potential cooperation and harmony. Mia felt a renewed sense of duty, not just to protect, but to foster understanding among the myriad civilizations under the Council's banner. She knew the days ahead would require resilience, diplomacy, and above all, an unwavering commitment to the principles that had brought them this far. As the triumphant yet weary fleet made its return to Council territory, the mood among the crew of the Defender was one of cautious optimism. The recent victory had bolstered spirits, yet the awareness of a deeper, lurking threat tempered the celebrations. Mia knew that the war they had glimpsed was far from over. It was merely a shadow of what might lie ahead. Upon their arrival, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Representatives from each member species gathered, their varied forms filling the Great Hall, reflecting a mosaic of interstellar diversity. Mia, standing at the podium, presented the findings from the Targon sector operation, including the intricate network of mercenaries and the shadowy backers who had remained just out of reach. "The threat we face is insidious and deeply woven into the fabric of our galaxy," Mia stated, her voice resonant and clear. "It is not bound by borders or allegiances as we understand them. This is not a threat that can be neutralized by force alone. It requires our collective vigilance and a unified strategy." Her words stirred the assembly, sparking a series of intense discussions and debates. The notion of an interstellar security force, which had once seemed a radical idea, now gained serious traction. Mia worked tirelessly, negotiating with various factions, soothing concerns, and drafting plans for what would eventually be known as the Galactic Defense Alliance, GDA. The establishment of the GDA marked a historic moment for the Council. Under Mia's proposed structure, it would operate with a degree of autonomy, but remain under the Council's oversight, ensuring that no single species could wield it for personal gain. Its first task was to dissect the network uncovered in the Targon sector, tracing its tendrils through the dark recesses of space. In the weeks that followed, the GDA conducted covert operations, gathering intelligence and quietly dismantling parts of the network. Mia kept close tabs on these operations, her resolve hardening with each uncovered plot that could have led to disaster. During this period of intense activity, Mia received a personal communication from an unknown source. The message was cryptic, hinting at a meeting on neutral ground. Despite the potential risks, Mia's instincts told her it was a chance to look into the eyes of one who might be behind the shadows. With a small, trusted team, she headed to the designated coordinates, located on a remote station orbiting a dying star. The meeting was with a figure known only as Valrin, a being whose appearance was obscured by technology, their voice modulated. "You are disrupting elements that have been in place for centuries, Ambassador Chen," Valrin stated, their tone neither threatening nor conciliatory. Mia met their gaze, unflinching. "And you underestimate our resolve to protect our realms and uphold the Council's principles," she countered. "What is it that you truly seek?" Valrin paused, the silence stretching. "A balance of power," they finally said. "One that does not tip too far in any direction." The conversation that followed revealed layers of galactic politics Mia had only begun to suspect. Valrin represented a coalition of non-council species and fringe elements, all who felt marginalized or threatened by the expanding influence of the Council. They proposed a ceasefire of sorts, an agreement to halt hostilities while exploring diplomatic solutions. Mia returned to the Council with Valrin's proposal, setting the stage for what would be some of the most delicate diplomatic work of her career. In the ensuing months, as tentative peace talks commenced, Mia found herself navigating a labyrinth of political intrigue, ancient grievances, and cautious hope. As the starlight streamed through the windows of the council chamber, Mia stood before the assembly once more, not just as a representative of Earth, but as a beacon of the potential for unity and diversity. "Today we chart a new course," she proclaimed. "One that leads not to the supremacy of anyone but to the security and prosperity of all." The galaxy watched and waited, the stars bearing witness to the unfolding future, as Mia Chen, with the weight of her convictions and the strength of her allies, steered them toward a horizon filled with uncertainty, but also brimming with the promise of peace.